So I have these bonded on in place. So I got a 2mm drill bit, and I'll drill those 2 clearance holes. And we'll do final fitting of that, which means drilling your holes that the screws actually thread into. We'll do that after we get this a little bit closer together. Before you do any more fitting, the other thing you want to make sure is that all this wood we just added doesn't hit this fiberglass flange. You can see it has a tendency to hit it. If you look down in there. So it's just this corner needs to be squared up a little bit more. So I'll just hit that with a Dremel tool and clean that up. So I overdid it a little bit, but basically what you want to be able to do is slide. You want to be able to slide that on so you can over fit that. You can make that back lip stick up. Then you'll have some clearance room to make the final adjustment when it goes together. So what I'd like to do next is I'll place the Overwing fairing in place, and I'll snap the nose on. So this kind of sets a lot how it all fits together. It sets that spacing of this fuselage when these dowels line up. And I use a little packing tape here, try to keep it off the stickers. And I'll tape this Overwing fairing to the fuselage. Get this nice tight joint there, so when you remove the nut, fit as best as possible. Seems like if you get your fingernails under the nose and pull that thing up and then pull it forward is the best way to do it. But once you get that fitted and working well, I'm going to put a couple clamps on here just to hold that tight. Okay, so that's a 1mm. And then you just use one of these screws that come with the kit. Boy, those are short. I think I'd have a tendency to look for a servo screw or something. I don't see any that come in the hardware pack that are the right. So I got a little bit longer, about the same diameter screw out of my, hopefully you guys can find one that'll work. better screwdriver. Okay, so take off the tape, try to peel it back on top of itself to prevent it from pulling too hard on the paint. Make sure you just kept it off the stickers. Don't have a problem with that. So that gets the front of this forward fairing fit, and your overwing fairing. Once we get the wing in there, we'll be able to drill these two back holes, which it does. Okay, here's two screws that come with the high-tech servos, and they work just about perfect in this rear overwing fairing screw location. So I'll drill probably about a 2mm clearance hole and then a 1mm pilot hole. I'll just drill the clearance hole through the overwing fairing. About a 2.5mm clearance hole for that screw. I'll go with a 1.5mm, about a So you want to make sure that the front of your overwing fairing is nice and in line, and it's pulled back square to try to minimize any gapping. And just go ahead and drill. Through your wing and through the saddle. With about a 1.5mm screw. Then these will, when you get these in, they'll tighten up nicely. Now if you want, you can stick a piece of balsa wood or a plywood back underneath the saddle. And that'll give you a little bit more meat to screw into. Once you get that piece of plywood on there, you can pilot drill that plywood too. But that's the overwing fairing, and that's all done, and that's fitting well. So that's